Good morning. My name is Duncan Gregory. I'm the Operations Director here at the British Racing School, and I'm doing a virtual introduction to your course because due to the coronavirus we're not able to do it in person. We're very pleased to have your young person joining us for course 341, which is a 14-week course. What I like to emphasise is that really this course is just a precursor, a lead-in to what follows, which is employment in a racing yard and the starting of the apprenticeship. And that's really important to understand. It's not just doing the course for the sake of the course. We'd like to emphasise that safeguarding is absolutely our #1 priority, and we place a great emphasis on that. So if you do have any concerns, do please get in touch with us and we will deal with it. We have a very swept up safeguarding team who will be able to assist, and they will deal with any issues that your young person may have. It's not unusual for these young people to have a bit of a wobble when they first arrive here. They're in a new environment, don't know anyone. So if you get the call that they would like to return home, perhaps you can resist the temptation to jump straight in the car and come and collect them. Generally that wobble lasts for a short period of time and then they get into the course and everything is fine. So you may get lots of phone calls, you may get very few phone calls. If it is that you get very few phone calls, please do get in touch with us if you haven't heard from your loved one for a little while, and we can put them in front of a phone and make sure they do actually speak to you. Whilst they're here, they will have a weekend off. It's not a long weekend, it's a racing weekend, starts on a Saturday lunchtime, runs through to Sunday evening. The only exception to that is if they live more than 3 hours away as per Google Maps. If that's the case, then we're happy they go on Friday evening. But I would please ask to don't come up with lots of reasons why they should leave on Friday, even though they live just this side of the M25, because invariably the answer to that is no. They'll have a formal assessment whilst they're here. That's generally at the week 8 point, and that's the transition from the round canter to the straight gallop. We do, as I say, formally assess them. Invariably they pass that and they go on to the straight, but in some instances we feel that it's not safe for them to progress. If that was the case, then we would advise that they turn to a course behind theirs, or exceptionally to return home and then come back on another course. But of course, if that did happen, we would be in touch with you. They don't all behave impeccably whilst they're here. We do have a system of warnings. Clearly, if it's a minor thing, that's dealt with. If it's a repeat offence or it is something more serious, then we give a formal warning. If they get 3 formal warnings, they go on to a 7-day assessment. And at that point, we would be in touch with you to let you know that. And they would then be assessed, closed on everything over a 7-day period. At the end of that, if they pass it, well and good, they carry on. If they didn't pass it, then they return home, and I'm afraid that would be the end of their course here. There is the opportunity for them to do their scooter licence whilst they're with us, and I'm sure Kieran will have given you details of that, but it does require them to have their provisional licence. I think that's probably enough from me, other than to again welcome them to the course and to, I hope, restate that this is a very good option they've taken, and we will do everything we can to make it as successful for them as we can. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, my name's Kieran. I do all the recruitment here. This is a bit of a strange way of doing the induction, but due to circumstance, obviously this is the next best thing. So I'm just going to take you through your induction for course 341, which starts on the 23rd of March. I'm just going to run through a few points which you will need to be aware of. All the points I'm about to speak to are in the student handbook, which you'll have already received prior to the course starting. So if you do want to go back and have a read through that, that would be really much appreciated. So yeah, the course is due to start on Monday the 23rd of March and run for 14 weeks through to the 29th of June. So in that time, you'll have your mid-course assessment, which one of my colleagues will speak to you about separately. And 14 weeks does sound like a long time, but trust me when I say that 14 weeks here is going to go very, very fast. Ordinarily, during the course, every student will have a weekend off. That weekend off will be calculated on your current postcode, and depending on your current postcode will mean if you can leave on Friday evening or Saturday afternoon. due to current issues, I'm not 100% sure whether or not we will have a weekend off during the course, but at present we're trying to run this course like a normal course would happen, so everyone will have a weekend off at present. The hostel, what's actually going to happen for your course to start with is for the first 2 weeks everybody is going to be isolated in our B&B wing with individual rooms. So you're going to come, hopefully you've all sorted out your bedding. Everybody should be bringing with them all of the duvet, pillows, bedding, bed linen for a single bed. And we'll keep that separate so that when we do move into the hostel, we've got all of that stuff for you guys sorted. But to start with, you're all going to have your own rooms in our B&B wing. We will have a common room area for you guys, and we will try and facilitate lockers and fridges and everything so you can bring snacks along in your cups and crockery, just like on the normal course. And by the time the isolation period's over, we'll be able to move all of your equipment into the hostel. For parents, ordinarily you'll be able to visit on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays at given times. How it's looking at the moment, I'm not 100% sure, and that's a conversation for us to have probably when you do arrive on Monday. If you are able to visit at some stage, we do have a B&B on site that you may be able to access, but that's something to speak about a bit of a later date as well. Every student who comes here does have to complete functional skills. Functional skills will have to be completed if the student hasn't achieved a grade C or level 4 in English and maths. If you have achieved that and haven't sent any documentation through, it'll be something to speak to our functional skills team about on Monday when you do arrive. Throughout that 14-week period, I guarantee everybody's going to go through some form of homesickness. For some people that'll happen in the first weeks, for some people that'll happen in week 3, week 4. Everybody's going to go through it at some stage, but please be aware that all of our staff are very well versed and very well trained in understanding homesickness and how to get over it. Every member of staff is an approachable member of staff who you can go and speak to about it. And it's important that working together we do get over those bumps in the road, homesickness being one of them. Everybody needs to bring with them on Monday a piece of ID, so that can be a passport, a driving licence or a birth certificate. That's just to prove you are who you say you are, and that we can attach that to your eligibility form to make sure that everybody is eligible to actually take place on this course. Cars. Students are able to bring their cars along with them. They'll just need to complete a little driver consent form when they arrive on Monday. And we do ask that all of the students who do bring cars hand their keys in to reception once they've taken all of their belongings out of there. We do run a CBT course, that's a scooter licence course. That's for trainees to attain a scooter licence so that when they get into the workplace, they can have up to 3 months free scooter hire to get from A to B. They might be living off site when they get to their yards and things like that. So we can facilitate a scooter licence course as well. In terms of kit, every student should bring with them a hat, a body protector and a pair of boots. The hat and the body protector must be in standard please, and those standards are in our student handbook, so please double check them. We will issue the students with 3 t-shirts and a coat during their time here. Every other piece of kit needs to be brought with the student. So that includes breeches, waterproofs and the likes. One last thing to say from us is we're a very transparent organisation, and if anybody has got any questions or queries about anything that's going on, all we ask is that you either drop us an email or pick up the phone, okay? We don't want to create any mass hysteria or any worries with anything that's going on, so please, please, please pick up the phone, email us, get in touch with us, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. But apart from that, we're looking forward to seeing you on Monday, despite everything that's going on, and we're sure that the next 14 weeks is going to be pretty enjoyable for everyone involved.
Hello, my name is Laurie Gillespie. I am the designated safeguarding lead at the British Racing School. Your young person's health, well-being and safeguarding is of utmost importance to the school and takes priority over everything else we do. To help us along those lines, we have got several policies in place: safeguarding, child protection, anti-bullying. All these policies can be found on the website. My contact details, along with those of Sarah Hayes Salter and Carol Bramall, can be found on the website as well. Those are my other safeguarding leads, and we can be contacted at any time. We also have a free-to-use SMS service available for both students and parents. To access that, if you text BRS SAFE to 62277, you will be contacted by a member of the safeguarding team, and this will also provide a link to several different help sites if you require urgent help. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Zoe Hammond and I'm the Quality Assurance Manager at the Racing School. We have a good team of instructors here at the Racing School, and they're overseen by the Yard Manager, who is Julie Lingham. Your course instructor at this moment in time will be Miss Berry, and the other instructors will also help with other assessments and overseeing you on the yard when necessary. All of our instructors have an assistant with them when you're riding. You're on a 14-week course, so during your 14-week course we will have a mid-course assessment. It's nothing to be afraid of. What it means is that we will monitor you throughout the course, and halfway through the course I will watch you ride, and we are watching on whether you have control and your position, spatial awareness, that kind of thing. You will also be looked at during your your mid-course assessment, and Mr. Gregory will also speak to you, as will your course instructor, to discuss your progress throughout the hostel and also on the yard. So it is not all about the riding. We have weekly meetings so that we can discuss how people are progressing amongst ourselves, so hopefully by the time it comes to your assessment we're all ready to move forward anyway. You will start your course in the indoor school, and then you will progress to the outdoor school, and after you have ridden in the outdoor school for a couple of weeks we'll then go on to the round gallop. At this point that's where you have your assessment, and then we move on to the straight gallop. Normally on a course you would go racing, however at this moment in time there is no racing to go to. Hopefully, depending on the circumstances, this might change. If it does change, then we will take you racing so you understand what racing is all about. Whilst you're on the course you'll work towards your level 1 diploma, and when you are then going into the workplace you will work towards your level 2 diploma. When you're here at the racing school you will also need to do your functional skills. We have a functional skills tutor who unfortunately is off sick at the moment, so she won't be able to do one of these videos, but we work alongside you and we make it all very horse related so that it's interesting for you. We also, when you go into the workplace and you're doing work towards your level 2 diploma, you will have homework set for you, and once you have completed your homework and your workplace assessors have done assessments with you each month, you will then be put through to something called endpoint assessment. The endpoint assessment is done at the racing school, and you will come here for a day's practice the day before, and then you will do a day's assessment, and after that you will have gained your apprenticeship. So that basically is what my role is at the racing school. If you have any issues with anything or you wish to ask me any questions, feel free to do so. My email address will be on the website, and I am more than happy to speak to anybody who has any questions. Thank you.
Hi there, my name's Sarah Hayes Salter. I'm the Workplace Support Manager here at the Racing School. Welcome to the Racing School. So, the start of 14 weeks might seem a very, very long time, but from day one you'll start to hear about different trainers that are based all over the country, and you might start to think who you might want to work for at the end of the 14 weeks. That might be flat, national hunt yards, whichever you feel is appropriate for you, and based throughout the country. one thing I'd say on day one is don't worry about where you're going to work on day one. We will help and guide you through that process. If there's a specific trainer that you've always wanted to go and work for, you must say, and we will do our best to get you into that yard if we think it's appropriate for you. There's only really one rule that we try and enforce, and that is that we keep you within 2 hours of home, and that's purely because when you have time off from the yard, you want to spend the majority of that time at home and not travelling. So within 2 hours should make that doable. By the time you leave here at the end of your 14 weeks, we aim to have you connected to a trainer, and that might be to go for an interview, a trial, or an actual start date. Every trainer works in a different way, but again, we'll help and guide you through that. And when that last day, graduation day, comes, we don't just abandon you and wave you out of the racing school and that's it. I will keep in touch with all of you and make sure that you've got all the information you need going forward, who you need to contact at the yard when you arrive, who you need to speak to, what time, and all those things that have you thought about what you need to take with you. When you do start at your yard, you will meet your workplace instructor within the first couple of weeks of you being there, and they will come and visit you every month after that and set you your one-file work. And what we're aiming for is for you to achieve your apprenticeship between 12 and 18 months after you leave here, which ends in an endpoint assessment, which Mrs. Hammond's already covered. As well as the workplace support manager, I am also Deputy Designated Safeguarding Lead alongside Laurie and Carol. So please come and find me throughout your course if I'm here, or on the telephone or via email if I can help you with anything. One thing my colleague Laurie forgot to mention is our zero tolerance to bullying policy, and that is very important, and we hope that you understand that. Thank you and good luck.
So I'm the school nurse here at the British Racing School. My name is Sharon. I work 7 till 3, Monday to Friday. However, I'm always on the end of my mobile phone and email. So if ever you need to talk to me about anything, you can contact me. Now, I'm not going to say that I will answer the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. However, as soon as I see that message or that email, I would respond. I offer a confidential listening ear service in the first instance. That's somewhere that you can come and talk about any worries, any concerns, anything at all, and you know that it's confidential. I work closely alongside the safeguarding team, and obviously that means that when I speak with you, if I'm concerned about anything, then I would have to share that with the safeguarding team. Parents, it's really important that if there are any concerns you have prior to your young person arriving at the school, if you could contact me on, and now I'm going to have to look at my badge, 0 777 411 97788, that's my mobile number, or sharon.mott@brs.org.uk. You can send me an email in confidence with any concerns so that we can support your young people when they arrive at the school and be prepared.